Okay, that hull is ready. Alright, so we're going to go back to our alloy armor. We're going to go over to our switch axe. Where is it? There's our Bone Axe Plus. And of course, if we wanted to, we could easily upgrade this to a Barroth weapon at this point. However, we are going to refrain from doing that, because we're going to pretend as if we've never fought a Barroth before, in all of these instances. Because this is supposed to be for those people going through the game on their own, they're saying, oh, this is my favorite weapon, I want to use this. What would be the best combination of armor and weapons at this point that I can do? What would be available to me? And if you were exclusively using a switch axe, you wouldn't be able to use Barroth parts, because that's what you're trying to kill in the first place. Brady Cat, Riser. I like Polisher, but I already have. I guess Riser's okay. You never know. Riser increases the amount of invincibility time you have while you're getting up. Should something terrible happen, that might actually help me out a little bit. Broomer is not all that good. If you're inflicted with some sort of elemental weakness or elemental ailment, it will help you remove that ailment faster. It's probably like twice as fast or some derivative of that. And I don't know that I'll necessarily go for the tail cut this time, because I was able to get it off with Cha-Cha and his trusty boomerang. I guess I might give it a shot. Okay, and just grabbing the usual stuff. And really the trick with Barroth and the switch axe is trying to get yourself in a position where you can actually hit him with either the overhead chop or actually get a series of vertical swipes off with him in sword mode. And again, I can't recommend enough just continually pumping Cha-Cha up with rations. He only gets better. I just wish there was an easier way to increase the mastery level of his various masks other than just continually fighting monsters. I don't know if that's just like some sort of endless grind they put in this game in order to keep people playing the offline mode, but it'll take quite a long time before you'll actually max it out. And as you'll notice, the sharpness gauge for the switch axe has a very light limit for green. If you actually look at the individual pixels on the equipment screen, you'll notice that each little part there like has a pixel that whoa! Well, each pixel counts for 5 swipes, no matter if they're big swipes or little ones. But in any case, yeah, this is already started to be quite exciting. You'll notice that my potion count has changed a little bit than what you would expect. This is actually the switch axe tutorial that I had recorded before, and I had actually gotten myself Feline Pyro. So, hopefully you do not mind, but I just got sick of fighting him at this point. I'm actually recording this fairly late at night. And I already have a earlier tutorial of the Barroth with the switch axe that you can find. So this is actually tutorial number 2. So, all switch axe, all Barroth, all the time. Except this might be a little bit more appropriate. I think the other tutorial I was using the blast earrings, which increased the power of my barrel bombs by just a little bit. I'm getting in a little bit of trouble here. It's really that little section over there that you're going to find yourself in the most trouble, because it's kind of hard to get out of that corner once he has you in it, because he has so many attacks that will keep you pinned in one spot. That was a pretty lucky slash on the tail there, but in general that's going to be the only way you're really going to be able to hit it effectively. Oh wow, that was a good dodge. It's like a little bit of precognition. I think there is some sort of pattern to the way the mud comes out off of him. I have yet to figure it out entirely, but I'm sure there are people out there that probably know exactly what he's going to do and when with his various mud balls. And again, I'm kind of a fan of just using the overhead chops. Again, they're among the most powerful attacks that the switch axe has. The elemental burst is pretty powerful, but it's not that good with this particular weapon, only because, you know, like I said, it has such a small green sharpness bar that you're going to be bouncing with most of the attacks anyways, kind of negating their usefulness. And again, the hope is that you'll eventually be able to get him into a spot where you'll be able to, like, get him where he won't back up anymore, like up against a wall or against a tree, so you can get in extra hits when he's trying to back up. And you'll notice that I've been using the hops a lot. Yeah, I mean, anytime a weapon has some sort of function to it that increases your mobility, it's usually there for a reason. Like with the switch axe, you have your hops. With the long sword, you have your fade slashes to the sides. All those various abilities should be used to... wow, that was kind of cool. I already broke the tail. Should be used to keep yourself maneuverable, not only to give yourself defensive capabilities, but also offensive. Wow. I don't really know how that didn't hit me. Maybe I had some sort of brief invincibility. I don't know. By the way, getting yourself to a low level of sharpness and bouncing off a monster is usually bad. However, for the switch axe, it kind of has some tactical usefulness in that the overhead chop is its most powerful attack. So being able to repeat it over and over again, even if it's bouncing, is sometimes worth it. It used to be in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite for the PSP that people would get their sharpness down on their hammers fairly far so that they continually bounce. I think it was more effective in the earlier versions, but even in Freedom Unite, people would learn to bounce a lot just to attack so fast. And certainly that's the same strategy you can employ with a switch axe. And again, I'm just getting kind of lucky here with the amount of flinches that I'm getting. Just in general, I'm just able to break just... I think I've broken all of the mud off of his body already. And this is without any water elemental either. I mean, certainly the bombs in the beginning might have had something to do with it. And he's already ready to be captured. At just a little under 7 minutes. Some of you could probably go back to my other video and see how much faster this is compared to the other ones. I think I might go for the tail. Or not, if he's going to run away. Yeah, it's tough to tell if he's going to go to Area 4 too. If he's like weak enough to be captured, like if he's really weak on health rather than stamina, it seems like he runs to Area 2. However, if he's weak on stamina, he almost always runs to Area 4 because that's where he'll eat. And I gotta be a little careful here because I might end up killing him. And the switch axe, much like the sword and shield, is a weapon that you just need to have a ton of whetstones for. Because especially if you're the sort of person that wants to do the elemental bursts a lot, your sharpness is going to go down very quickly. Okay, it seems like he's out of rage mode, so I can at least get him into a trap effectively. And let's see if we can get this tail off. Awesome. That's a lot of tails tonight. Thanks, Cha-Cha. You can actually break the claws. I've not mentioned this before, and I think I just noticed it for the first time now. The claws can actually be broken. I mean, not only do they have mud on them, but hitting them again will cause them to snap a little bit, resulting in an extra item. Oh no, Cha-Cha. I think he was actually going for a carve there. Looked like it. Yeah, when he's in rage mode, it's so hard to get attack off of the switch axe. Just a lucky positioning on kind of like a hill there let me avoid a lot of those attacks. Got one last attack off on his tail, and I kind of made him flinch. That was funny. I'm definitely at the point where I want to sharpen, but I'm just going to go for a couple more attacks because I think he's close. There we go. Okay. Sometimes you just like instinctively tell. Like, I knew he'd been weak for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes at that point. And also in this particular quest, I guess I'd also gotten Carver. So not only did I have Pyro, I had Carver, probably low or high, I don't know. So 9 minutes and 36 seconds. If I had really wanted that to be over at about 7 minutes, I probably could have let it. But I was just going to go for another tail carve and another kill. Of course, if you really want to reduce your times, always go for a capture. I mean, you get 4 carves off the body. In general, you usually get about 2 rewards from the actual capture. So, it's give or take. I mean, you know, not 4 carves. You usually get 3 carves and then 2 capture, but usually the capture rewards are rarer than the carve rewards. But sometimes if you need common items, it's better to go for the kill as well. If only because a lot of armors actually require it. Okay, so we finally beat the Barroth. This is actually a little post-commentary. I'm just going to go through all the various things that will happen to you after Barroth has been defeated the first time. As you can see, there's going to be a clear mismatching of weapons. Hopefully you will forgive me for that. So it appears that Cha-Cha has given us the plans for a new mask, and that's going to require... well, it will appear that I did not get Funky Pheromones, which I believe you get from killing Bnahabra in the Moga Forest. But other than that, we just need to get ourselves a double barbecue spit by trading a Rarity 1 commodity. And then we would be able to make Cha-Cha's barbecue mask. So I'm just going to do a little bit of farming. Fortunately, Barroth gives us something called Fertile Mud, which allows us to create even more things when we put them on the farm. You might want to save up all of it, though, in case you plan to make any of his armor, as it does require an awful lot of it. I think you require 15 Fertile Muds to make a full set of either Gunner or Blade Master armor. Somewhere around there. And this part could probably be safely ignored, as I'm just going to be switching to a weapon that I probably will not be using. Although you'll notice that I did get a +4 perception charm. That will come in handy later on, possibly against the Gobull, maybe not, in order to allow me to fit even more skills on. Of course, the farther you get into the game, the better charms you get. As we're only fighting, 3-star offline monsters, we're not going to get very good charms. But you never know, you might get lucky. I think there is actually a quest in the 4-star area that will give you +5 barbecue and +10 perception, which is very useful. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cram this in after the Switch Axe, but before the Sword and Shield, so it might be hopefully a little less jarring of a transition there. Confusing, certainly, for those of you watching past the Switch Axe and saying, why is he using a lance? Well, quiet you. And this would be my ideal set, which would be Critical Eye +2, and Capture Griot, Trapmaster, and Speed Sharpening. The Critical Eye +2, that just adds an extra 2.5% damage on average to my attack. Okay, and then just talking to the guild sweetheart, I rapidly start skipping her text because I forgot that it was going to come up. And she's going to start talking about the Gobull and mentioning that she actually has no information about him at all. But of course, we will not be getting to Gobel until the next update. So you'll just have to wait until then. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and start this quest.